this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. So, has the Democratic Party treated black men and black women the same? Listen to this clip and then we'll talk about it.
Don't blame black people for this. Why we gotta keep saving folks? And black men have been emasculated in the Democratic Party. That's real. They don't see themselves, because to lift up black women is beautiful. We should, but not at the expense of black men. We have achieved what we have achieved so far in this country because we are together. And we can't pick up other people's bad habits. Now, white women may be able to lead a white man by the side of the road. Sisters can't do that.
I wholeheartedly agree with her when she says we have achieved what we have achieved together. We have worked together. We've always worked together, black men and black women. I differ when she says white women might be able to leave white men on side of the road. They don't leave white men on side of the road. White men will push white women into positions and they will benefit from it, and the white man will go on and do something else. It doesn't appear to me that white men see themselves in competition with white women when it comes to power. We know that affirmative action originally was for black American descendants of slavery. But they worked around, white men worked around and got the meaning of it changed to mean minorities. And then they went back and classified white women as minorities so they could take advantage of what had been set aside for black Americans. White men do stuff like that all the time. In my state of Alabama, we had a governor, Governor Wallace, the one and the same, that stood in the door of Foster Auditorium at the University of Alabama to keep the black students from enrolling. When he had served his 2 terms as governor of Alabama, he ran his wife. He used her in a position of power. Now, you pretty much know he's pulling the strings behind the scenes, but he pushed her up to do it so they could stay in power. So white men and white women work together when it comes to power and leadership. Now, it seems like when black men and black women are involved, it's an either or. It becomes competition then because maybe there just aren't enough positions to go around. Now, when it comes to women in politics and men in politics, I think white men and black men have been pushed out, because I did a video a few days ago where I said that they had run decent white men out of politics. And then some smart aleck wrote back, well, who are the decent white men? Well, we don't know because they've been run out. The reason I said that was that every time there has been a white man, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, who has tried to work to solve problems in the United States Congress, that person has been primaried and voted out. If it's a Democrat, the Republicans will label him progressive, left-wing, communist, anything to smear that person's character. Eventually, that person either will get primaried and voted out, or he'll leave. When it's a Republican, if he's trying to reach across the aisle to work with the Democrats, then the Republicans will do the same thing to him. He's too liberal. He's too liberal for the Republican Party. So what people who have options and can do something else give it up. And guess what they do? They stay in Washington and become lobbyists. So they lobby the Congress, make more money without the stress and aggravation of dealing with narrow-minded people. So that's how come we don't have a Congress of men who are reasonable, who are level-headed, who are open-minded, and who want to solve the problems of this country. They're not allowed to, because the narrow-minded, small-thinking people in the United States of America will prevent them from being elected to public office. Now, if that's true for white men, you know it's true for black men. And anytime you got Joe Biden and Donald Trump as the best to offer for each political party, that lets you know that there's a scarcity of white men in politics. So I would say that men in general are not treated the same in the Democratic Party. So it is true, black women do seem to be getting a better break in the Democratic Party than black men. Now, I say that with the knowledge that there are up and coming black men in the Democratic Party that I think are going to do really well. I believe Hakeem Jeffries is going to do really well. Wes Moore and the mayor of Baltimore. I believe he will evolve into a very good, relatable politician in the Democratic Party. Black men need to be interested in politics. You know, we had the guy down in Florida, and he turned out to be a disaster. He was running for governor of Florida. And if he had won, it really would have been even worse, because that guy was always just a scandal waiting to happen. But the question is, do black men want to be in politics? Do they want to be in the Democratic Party? Because in order to be really successful at something like that as a black man, you've got to be disciplined. You've got to be scandal free, because they will be looking for something in a black man to drag him down. So look at President Obama. They made up lies about him, but they didn't come up with anything that was really career destroying. And that's what they're going to look for if it's a black man. So I think we have to start with whether or not a black man really wants to go through it. Personally, I would like to see more black men in politics, because they would bring something different to the table. And a black man in the Democratic Party is going to have more influence and more clout than those guys that we see over in the Republican Party, who really just look like jokes to most of us. But they're in white districts and they're behaving like the white people want them to behave. I'm not sure that's what black Democrats want from black men in the Democratic Party. We want them to live in their own skin and speak their truth to power, not what somebody else has told them to say. And the thing that black men in politics, especially in the Democratic Party, would be subjected to would be a lot of criticism from black people, because black people want somebody to do something for the black community. And doing something means passing legislation, and it's not that easy to do. Black people cannot pass bills by themselves. And even though there may be 50 or 60 black people in Congress, there are 435 members of the House of Representatives, not even counting the Senate. And it takes 218 votes to pass a bill. It's a process. You can't get in there and do something for black people just because you get elected. It takes a network of people to get bills passed. And so I think that's another reason why a lot of black men would want to get into politics, because you're going to come up with all of this scrutiny, and he didn't do anything for this person, and he didn't do anything for that person, and he could have helped her, but he wouldn't do it, and he ain't doing nothing for the black people. I believe that keeps a lot of black men out of a lot of positions. So they play basketball, they rap, they get their business if they want a business going, and they keep control over their own lives and don't have to listen to what everybody thinks about everything. So I believe I'm right, and if black men are listening to this video, I would like to know what they have to say about it. And what they don't get credit for is that when they do vote on bills that help everybody, they don't get credit for it. What do they do specifically for black people? Now, I get that conversation. I understand it. But I also understand that it's difficult for them to do. If you get up there, the first week you get up there, you got to start doing something for black people, or else they're going to be talking about you like a dog, like they do the rest of them. And that is the advantage that black Republicans have over black Democrats, because they represent white districts, they vote on bills that help everybody, and white people are satisfied. They don't complain about them. So anyway, y'all, thank you for listening, and let me know what you think about the video.